And when you know the Obama administration said all this is normal, the Iranian government took pictures of these people and released them on national television, and the pictures show that our sailors are on their knees on their boats. They're on their knees with their hands behind their head like they're being arrested. Okay, which is not normal procedure. It's a violation of the Geneva Conventions to take pictures of prisoners like this. And then, not only that, they took them back to Farsi Island. They slapped one of our female sailors in a hijab. Who's reporting that? It's in the pictures. It's a slap. No. They put her in a hijab. Okay. They grabbed the hijab and they put it around her head, which she wasn't wearing before. Right? And then they forced them to take off all their shoes. There are pictures of them with no shoes on.
Right? Are you saying, my friend, just a point of reference, and then I'll share this quote, that they, because people talk like this, that they slapped a hijab on her and did not slap her face? Or are you saying they slapped?
Right. No, they slapped a hijab on her.
Okay. All right. I wanted to be clear because people care about that.
The whole thing is deliberately humiliating. That's what this was. And they released video. And then Joe Biden said he was asked on CBS deliberately. He was asked straight out, did you apologize? Did the United States apologize to Iran over this? And Joe Biden said, no, there was no sort of any apology. Nobody even asked for an apology. Only one problem. Iran then released video of one of our Navy soldiers with the audio. Yeah. One of our Navy soldiers actually apologizing for going into Iranian waters.
Sure. Here it is. Here's our soldier apologizing for going into Iranian water. This video released by the Iranians.
There was a mistake. That was our fault, and we apologize for our mistake.
Okay, you listen to that.
Joe Biden
Clearly sounds like coerced language there. Here's what the Major General Hassan Firouzabadi, if I'm saying that, Firouzabadi says, head of Iran's armed forces. He was quoted as saying by an Iranian news agency, listen to this. Listen to this language and the tone. Listen to what's said and really listen to what's not said. Quote, this incident in the Persian Gulf, which probably will not be the American forces' last mistake in the region, should be a lesson to troublemakers in the U.S. Congress. Those are very strong words from a country that we apparently just had a great deal with that was mutually beneficial for both sides.
Well, it was supposedly. So what's amazing,
I don't mean to laugh, folks, but sometimes you have to or you cry.
Today we are slated to release $100 billion to the Iranians.
Well, in fairness, though, separate from this, in fairness, big stories over the weekend, I had them. I don't have the list of all of the arsenal that was done away with or moved and the centrifuges that were thrown away, but there was significant removal of a lot of...
supposedly, but there's no verification of any of that.
Because the UN's got to get in there and do that.
And if the UN doesn't get in there and do any of it, it doesn't matter.
I don't know what the timetable is.
But there are at least 5 lies, by the way, that were told by the Obama administration in the process of this because it was humiliating, and so they decided to cover up the fact that it was humiliating by pretending they actually thanked the Iranians for this. So the Iranians took 10 sailors at gunpoint, held them overnight to deliberately humiliate the President of the United States, and the Obama administration decided that they were going to play this as a public relations win. This was just evidence of how great things were going to be. So number one, you have Joe Biden lying that there was no looking for any apology and there was no apology. That was a lie, obviously, because we just played the audio of the apology by a Navy soldier or a Navy sailor. Then he lied. Josh Earnest, he said they were being afforded the proper courtesy that you would expect. Well, no, actually, I wouldn't expect it if we detained an Iranian ship, if an Iranian ship lost power and went into our waters. I really don't think that we would take any Iranian female who's in the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. There are none, but if there were, I really doubt that we would strip her of her hijab in order to humiliate her. I really don't think that happens. John Kerry said he thanked the Iranian authorities for their cooperation and quick response. It wasn't that quick, and it wasn't required. Well, I mean, the idea that these boats would have just been floating in the middle of the ocean if it weren't for the Iranian military is insane. Okay, we have ships in the region. They would have gone and they would have picked these guys up. And then Kerry said this is all about the critical role that diplomacy played in all of this. Yeah, except for what this really was is that in Muslim culture, at least in Iranian culture, the way that this works is that if you get a big gift from the United States, if you get $150 billion signed over to you from the United States, it makes you look like a running dog for the Americans, right? And so what they do instead is they posture and they try to humiliate, and then they go to their own people and they suggest, well, it really isn't that we are surrendering to the Americans.
We're no one's yes man.
Exactly. We're pushing them into it, right? We're tough. We're buff. We're rough. We can roll with these.
We'll show you and we'll do this.
Right. Exactly. But the Obama administration thanks them for it out loud. The Obama administration is laughable.
There's Ben Shapiro with eloquent criticism of the Obama administration.